Although this is new, isn't it?
Yeah, I had a beard before, and
Yeah.
I was.
Hi, everybody. Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. Welcome to the Superman Show, Happy Time Edition. And to answer K Munion's comment in the comment section, it is Happy Time Edition because I was filling in something to put later, and then I never got around to changing it. So tonight, my guest is Chris, or better known in the world as Cram Bradley. Cram, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing the best I can. Really cold, but good.
Yeah, it's been nuts. Although today was pretty nice. It got to a balmy in Celsius. It got to a balmy -5. So, which is late, probably around the 20 for you guys. So
yeah, I think the high for today was probably like 23 or 24, but it was hitting around 10, 15 most of the day, and then 5 when I left work. Yeah.
So, how you been? What have you been up to? We've Christmas has passed. All the holidays are out of the way. Everybody's back into the routine. What have you been up to?
Oh, nothing much. Doing some writing, some working, stuff like that. Not a whole lot of comic collecting, but some stuff here and there. Yeah.
That's cool. Before we get into introducing everybody who's in the chat tonight, let's get into some Man of Steel news that I've actually found. I've actually found some stuff to give out tonight. Apparently, the second Superman movie, which has been tagged as Man of Tomorrow, which is coming out in 2027, is going to be filming in Cleveland in the spring to honor the hometown of the creators, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Joe Shuster, of course, is actually from Toronto, but he
is
grew up in Cleveland. Yes, he moved to Cleveland at age 9. He the original Metropolis skyline that he draws in Action Comics 2 is actually the Toronto harbor front.
Oh, wow.
He did from memory from the 1930s. I mean, today there'd be the CN Tower and a couple other things that aren't there. But yeah, he did a pretty good job with that. Also, DC announced this week that they're going to be releasing a massive anthology celebrating Supergirl called Supergirl of the World. Apparently, it's going to be about this thick and have a ton of her stories over the course of her career, from her first appearance down to including the entire series of Woman of Tomorrow. So I don't know. I didn't see the details with regards to the prices or anything like that yet. More to come, but that's cool. That's something I may be interested in. Also, I don't know how many people out there know, but Todd McFarlane has lost the license for DC Figures. His contract was up, and DC signed a new deal with Mattel Toys. And Mattel's first DC figures, starting with Superman, Supergirl, Batman, Robin, etc., Joker, Lex Luthor, Flash, etc., will be coming out shortly. The date for release, from what I saw, is early April. So if you're into toys and stuff like that, there's going to be a brand new line of DC, and they're apparently 6.5 inch. So there, I guess that's probably about that. I know you can't really see on the screen, but as a comparison, we got that. And last but not least, I know the Canadians out there might be interested in this. A new set of hockey cards is being issued by Upper Deck, showing famous hockey players such as Connor McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon in the Fortress of Solitude. There's only 6 cards to the set, and each package of cards will have 1 card in it, and they're $20 a piece, and they're only available at the Upper Deck website. They're starting out as what they call virtual cards, and then they're going to issue the real ones later. So that's the Superman news that I've got this week. I'm very proud to have done that because I really have been lax in doing that for a while. So let's take a moment to say hi to everybody in the chat before we get really going here. Number 1 today was K Munin. Hi, Andreas.
K Munin.
And here I've posted we have hit our 800 subscribers goal. So this Thursday coming up, I forgot to put my banner up. Let's put the banner up, okay? This Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I am going to have a live stream where I am going to pick the winners of my 6 prizes. So if you want to join in and want a chance, go to this video, leave a comment, make sure you're a subscriber, and you will be eligible. I'm going worldwide. If you live in my last giveaway, someone was from the Philippines that won. So I'll go worldwide. I don't have a problem with that. So we'll go from there. Okay, next up, Rob Saint is here. Hi, Rob. Hi, Jeff. Good to see you. I saw you were over at the Stevie D thing. We've got Louie here. Hi, Louie. Robbie Josephs is here. Hi, Robbie. Friend of the channel. I had a nice chat with him this afternoon.
How are you, Robbie?
Let's see. Dan's Comic Corner's here. Hi, Dan. Good to see you. Lyle's here. Lyle is doing great on his channel. If you haven't subscribed to Lyle, give him a quick sign up because he's doing well. He's showing a lot of stuff from his collection that he's got. He's got so much eclectic stuff going range from the 19th century up. And remember, the 19th century is already technically 2 centuries ago. Yeah. So we're going there pretty well. And Brian, local comic stud, as I heard he was called on the other but loves collecting Spidey. Of course, we know what LCS really stands for. Brian, thank you for being here. And so that's it. Chris, you mentioned to me about before the show that you haven't had a chance to really go out and get new comics for a while, but you are still going to work on that 1960 series that you were doing with all the books from 1960, if I'm correct.
Yes, I made some. I'll talk to Steppo about it and Steve. I'll talk to Steven about certain things, but and Robbie as well. I'm cutting out some of the romance, not the romance titles, but like Dobie Gillis. I don't need that. I don't need TV screen cartoons or Fox and the Crow. But yeah, I'd like to stick with it. It's just the issue you get with It's hard for me motivation-wise with the Batman titles, because usually I love collecting Batman, but Batman for 1960 is not like cream of the crop.
No, that was right smack in the middle of that period where, in between when the Code started and the Batman when Carmine Infantino took over in 1964, I believe it was, that period where it was the weird sci-fi stuff and the Rainbow Batman and the Zebra Batman and all those other wonderful stuff.
Yeah, I will, and I don't mind the wackiness. It's just the writing gets a little bit. I know Bill Finger would write stories occasionally. I know he was pretty active from the 40s into the 50s, and the 60s is when he really petered off. But it's just the writing's a little bit tough to get through for me. And Superman is fun, so I'll have even though it can be a little bit clunky, it's still, there's a good aspect to it, but I just think Batman gets very formulaic.
Honestly, I would say that Superman from 1958 to from around 58 to around 64, that's the fun period.
Yeah.
After 64, he starts becoming a dick.
Yeah.
Like the way he treats Jimmy and Lois in the books and all that stuff. Now, Lois and him have always been sort of picking at each other. I mean, that's what love does, I guess. But the fact is that all the books from that period is you've got books where, oh no, he's dating Alana, oh no, he's doing all this, and oh no. Plus, you had that in that time period, you had the Clark Kent character in Action Comics, Adventure Comics, World's Finest. 1960 Justice League was beginning.
Yeah.
You had Superman. You had Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane. You had Superman, Jimmy Olsen. That's 7 titles right there. That's a lot for one character.
No, it's definitely a lot. I think, I don't know, maybe what sours me on Batman too is I've read so much of Batman that I think when I read the 50s stuff, I'm like, there's, I think he was great in Detective from at the beginning
Right.
to like the first like couple issues of the Batman title, and then from then until around when Denny takes over, I like stories here and there, but I'm not in love with a lot of the plot line stuff.
Well, I mean, Detective Comics, I found they got the bums rush a little bit because they, as I said, they were doing all those sci-fi stories at that time period,
Yes.
but also the fact that the ones that really knew the characters, like Sheldon Moldoff, for example, were working on the Batman title as opposed to the detective title, and as a result, the detective title stories tended to be. Plus, you've got all the other stories in detective at the time. You had the Martian Manhunter backups. You had the God, what was his name? Jason Bard backups, and the other type of detectives. Mr. 13, I think, was there at one point. You know, all those types of backups. So you had other stories in there that were also taking up space and time. And honestly, except with the exception of Martian Manhunter, I would say until Elongated Man came along, none of the backups were memorable from that era of detective either.
No, I even remember, like, because I've most of what I read is like Denny O'Neill's run in the 70s.
Yeah,
and
that's fantastic stuff.
It's great, but I always hated reading the Robin backup stories. And I'd read the main Batman story and I'd be, oh, this is great, and then it would just be Robin in college or Robin. There's a hippie commune that he's getting involved with and all this other stuff.
Although there was one good, I don't know if you ever read the story where Batgirl and Robin are together, and it takes place at the college. But like there's a guy going around killing actors, and it was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a Shakespearean theater thing, and so the one guy was so jealous, like he started killing some of the people in the thing. That's actually was a pretty good story.
Yeah, I'd have to go back. Because I've mostly what I've read of Denny's is the main Batman run, but I do like his tech issues as well. They're pretty good. It's kind of funny how they're known for Neil and Denny, but a lot of the times it's Denny and Irv Novick in the book. It's never.
Well, yeah. If I remember correctly, Neil Adams would only do one story in Batman every month because he was doing so much other stuff, like doing House of Secrets stuff and House of Mystery, like because he was doing art for those books too. So Irv Novick ended up doing a lot more art than Neil Adams was at the time.
For interior and stuff,
especially, you were more likely to get especially after Detective 400, you were more likely to get Neil Adams on a detective story than Batman. Irv Novick pretty much did the entire books on Batman.
Yeah, well, and it also feels like Neil was really used as like a cover mercenary. Like you pull him for Lois Lane, you pull him for Adventure Comics, pull him for Batman.
Superboy. He was on Superboy. He was on. He was on the Spectre. If you remember, he did all those Spectre covers.
Yeah, I'd seen an interview with Jim Shooter, and it was the long one that they did for the Comic Book Historians channel. It's great, and they show some of Neil's books, and I'm like, I gotta go look. I gotta start collecting his adventure covers because they're just so good. Also,
he did. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no! When we were talking about Detective in the 50s, where you didn't really have Sheldon Moldoff. Remember a while ago when Robbie was on, you were talking about Kurt Swan and Batman, and Kurt Swan actually did a good amount of Batman covers for Detective in the late 50s.
Yes, he did, and he did draw. Kurt Swan did a lot of the interior stories for World's Finest.
Yes,
in the 50s and 60s, so he did draw Batman quite a bit.
I like his Batman.
He wasn't drawing him in his regular titles. He was only doing him mostly in World's Finest.
Yes.
Or if he was a guest in the Superman book that he was drawing.
And I agree with K-Unit. I do think that Dick Grayson got better when he became Nightwing.
Well, what I will say about Nightwing is that Dick Grayson is his own man in Nightwing and is not subordinate to anybody.
Yes.
And you know what? He was a damn good Robin.
Yeah. Oh man, for decades he was
Nightwing. Nightwing, yes. As Nightwing, he just absolutely much better. I will agree on that. But at the same time, I think Dick Grayson, I think Robin a lot, but also because I'm old. But secondly, the thing is, I haven't been, I haven't. Damian Wayne is finally a Robin I like, if you get what I mean, since. Because unfortunately, I compared everybody to Dick Grayson, and Dick Grayson was always coming up. Tim Drake was good, but he wasn't Dick Grayson good.
No, well, he's also, I mean, he's the creator of the franchise. He's the first Robin. It's hard to beat Coca-Cola. That's sort of the way
that's true.
feel about it. There's Pepsi, there's RC or whatever, sort of the thing they say in Breaking Bad. But no, it's so funny when he brings up Nightwing or Superman connection, since this is the Superman show. I'd been in a library local to here, and a woman walked past me and saw me reading trade paperbacks, and she had been collecting in the 50s and 60s. And I showed her, I said, "Oh yeah, this book's Nightwing." And she said, "Oh, that's the name that was used in the city of Kandar."
That's right. Well, that's where it comes from. If you read that issue where he becomes Nightwing, he says that he was inspired to pick the name because Superman told him about his adventures with Jimmy Olsen in Kandor as Nightwing and Flamebird.
Yep. And when she told me that, I was like, wow, she clearly has. So we talked for a little bit, but it was interesting to hear somebody who had no idea of any of the modern Batman lore.
I will say this, K Munin, in response to your Damian Wayne can be really easy to dislike. The answer is yes, but the one thing I like about Damian Wayne is he's trying.
Yeah. And
he's damn good at what he does. You can honestly tell he's got the genetics of the Batman in him.
And I think what kills a good Robin is somebody who doesn't like to write Robin or doesn't know how to properly use them. Like I know a big reason Jason Todd got killed, or part of the thing when it was being written, was Jim Starlin didn't really care for Robin as a character.
Yeah, and you know what? And maybe because Jim Starlin was doing that at the time. I admit I voted in that 1-900 number, and I voted to kill him because I didn't like him. I didn't like Jason Todd. Part of it is because I actually got introduced to Jason Todd in pre-crisis, and I found him to be literally a carbon copy of Robin. His parents were in the circus. His parents were killed.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne adopts him. He's the next Robin. Like, they couldn't even come up with a new set of an origin for the kid.
No.
So it was cool post-crisis that they did give him a bit of a different origin. But by this point,
the damage was done.
Damage was done. My dislike for the character was done. Although now I really like him as Red Hood. Yeah.
Well, and when I was a kid, I read the trade paperbacks for Death in the Family, and I didn't like Jason either. But I think it's especially when you're younger, I think it's kind of annoying to see teen angst, or it's annoying to see characters who are just obnoxious. And I always found Jason, when I reread it, I've reread it a couple times now, Jason's not any different than any other teenager that I knew.
No, he's snarky and he's, he's difficult. Yeah. And based on the new background, you can see why he's even more difficult than he would be if he had been grown up in a better. You got to give the credit to this. Dick Grayson had a loving family before he is killed. His parents were killed, sorry. And in the case of Tim Drake, his mother loved him. His dad really loved him. It was a different story. His mom had died in the accident. But, Tim figured it out on his own. Oh, wait, Batman needs a Robin, right? So, and the fact that his father knew, he still wanted to do this. But you can't deny, again, he had a loving family.
Yeah, where Jason's raised on the streets.
Jason's raised on the streets, and Damian is raised by a group of assassins by his wacky mother. His first normal parental figure is the Batman, and he's no normal parental figure. So
no.
You can absolutely see why he is the way he is.
Well, and I never picked up on all the things around Jason when I was a kid, like the fact is, he's raised by a person who he thinks is his biological mom, who isn't. And then his dad gets killed, finds out his mom's still alive. It turns out that his mom committed an illegal abortion in Gotham and had to flee to I think it's Lebanon. And then she sells him out to the Joker. And it's just
who the hell sells out their son to the Joker?
Well, I think the whole idea with her is she never had any connection with him in the first place. And clearly she's questionable
She's wrapped
character.
up, well, yeah, she's wrapped up in her own little world. It's amazing like that.
But she's also embezzling too. I think she's
Yeah.
embezzling from the charity that she's operating out of. And
That is
yep.
true.
Yep.
Did you ever pick up? I picked up the when it came out the What If He Lived version.
I didn't pick it up.
I
but
did
I
pick
heard
it up, but you know what? It would completely. You know what? It completely wrecks everything because
Yeah.
right off the bat, if he had lived, then that whole Iranian ambassador storyline for the next book, and that one. And by the way, Superman is involved in that one, so it does fit in here. Superman standing in front of Bruce Wayne saying, "You can't do anything." What? What do you mean he's the ambassador of Iran? Like,
well, it always bothers me when people say, "Well, Batman never did anything after Jason died." It's like, well, in that story, he tries to kill Joker, and he ends up flying out of the helicopter, and he thinks Joker's dead for all intents and purposes. And like, it's
sorry, K Munin. There are images. I saw them on the website where I got the news. It was the Superman homepage. There's about 6 pictured.
Let me see.
Of the
look all right.
Of the Mattel stuff. So if you want to check that out at another point.
I've never gotten into figure, but I never collected them as a kid. So
yeah, no, I've never been a comic, a toy collector either. But my son is. I do like Smurfs. I mean,
yeah, I can see them. I can see them.
No, but I mean, like, I like the little Smurfs like this too. The ones that are like this. I like these. Okay, that's about my only real. I have a couple of action figures. Like I'm trying to get the full. I just need the Human Torch, and I've got the full Fantastic Four, that kind of thing. But I mean, and it's more because I like them, but I don't go out and buy them.
No, I think it's fun to have a few things here and there.
Yes, K Munin, that is true. Batman revives him because he doesn't want the Nightwing to live as a killer. And to be honest, I wish someone would just once knock off the Joker.
I'm a huge Batman fan, but I think that there gets to a point, especially I think writers love to have Batman's villains all of them be murderers. Like it seems like now at this point,
crazy. They're getting crazier and crazier every year.
And the thing is like you're getting past the point of believability. But it's like I remember reading Tom King's run, and I know it's a mixed thing, but he makes like Condiment King a killer. He said, "You think Condiment King's funny? He killed 4 people last week." It's like you don't have to make all of them killers. But with the Joker, I always just think like there's only one end game. He gets killed. There's no like.
Yeah, but he's
a cash cow.
In the yang. As long as Batman exists, the Joker has to exist, and vice versa. Because I don't think that Batman would have the same cachet without the Joker. Similar to, I don't think Superman would have the same cachet without Lex Luthor, or Wonder Woman without Cheetah, or the X-Men without Magneto, et cetera, et cetera.
I get
or
you.
Captain America and the Red Skull. That's one of my favorite fights.
Yes. Yeah. No. I just think a lot of writers, they have to have a big Joker story. And I think that there's just so many Joker stories out there. He has way more like roads that are good options.
You got to admit, though, some of them are really good. I like the one with the Joker fish. The Joker fish was great.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. I met Steve Englehart at Terrificon because I have I should have brought that another day, but I have like a Smash piece that I'm trying to start. So I have Tom King signed it and Steve Englehart. Jim Starlin was there, but I didn't get to get it signed by him. I love Jim Starlin, and his Batman stories are pretty good. I don't mind the Robin slander because Robin, I think, could be a little bit, a guy in red tights getting shot at.
Yeah. So my question becomes now: did you bring any books for us tonight?
I did. It's a smaller stack, but I brought some today.
Excellent. Well, let's take a look.
Let's see. Third time's the charm. Hopefully, I can get this angle right on these, or I can just do this. So, first, speaking of World's Finest, I don't know if I've ever showed this one, but this is one.
That's a nice looking one. I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, this is actually a 1960 book. I think this is actually Kurt Swan too. But I get a real kick out of how he draws Batman.
Yeah.
There's one of my favorite covers is the Submersible, the
Right.
Bathysphere cover from Detective Comics that Jerry Robinson drew,
Mhm.
and in that I don't know. There's something about the way Batman's drawn. It is a pretty good color strike. I do like the pinks.
Yeah, it is a nice like the pink, the purple on pink is actually kind of neat.
Yeah, that's what I got. I get a kick out of it seems like they weren't as willing sometimes with Detective and Batman and Superman to experiment as
Mhm.
much as they were with World's Finest or things like that. Actually, one of the 1960 books I want to pick up is that Action Comics issue you showed, I think, with Steven showed, which is the tree falling down, I think.
Yes.
Yes, that one I need to pick up. The issue with I love 1960, but I also do like books from 61 and 62, and
Mhm.
one of the ones from that is her gliding into town when they introduce her to the world. So
Oh, very cool.
this was another one. These were
Nice.
cool. But and this is 1960 as well. I actually picked that up at Terrificon while I was
Very
going.
cool.
And then the next couple books is actually this was the era I started. I actually don't have a whole lot. I'm realizing I got a small stack here, but I started reading during the New 52. We used to drive up to Northampton, and which is an area near me in Berkshire, Mass, and we'd go to the store. So New 52 is what I started with Batman, but this is
Mhm.
I was deciding I'd collect all the number
Yes.
ones I
What a
could.
beautiful cover that is. New 52 Supergirl. Now you want to talk teenage angst. That's what she was basically for the first 25, 26 issues of that series.
I'd have to give it a read. So Michael Green, it says, is the author on that.
Yes.
Is he what has he written?
To be honest, I don't know what else he's done. I haven't done much research into Michael Green, but I can tell you that first year of that Supergirl series had some interesting concepts to it.
No.
You got the first appearance of Rain in issue 5.
Mm-hmm.
They make a comment that they make it so that the cyborg Superman is actually her dad. Like there's some weird stuff that goes on. It's but makes sense for the New 52 because they were redoing everything anyway. So
yeah, it's so funny now because I come across new readers who it's not like I've been reading for very long, but now actually it's now like 12 years or whatever. But I'll come across new readers who are now used to just like picking up trades and other things like that, and they'll read through Scott Snyder's run for the New 52 like it's super, like without any of the controversy. And I remember when the New 52 came out, it was pretty controversial. All the changes that they were making.
I remember I was so pissed when they announced that they were canceling all the titles.
Yeah.
And doing this initiative, I was so pissed. I'm like, how could you get rid of such legacy books?
Yeah.
And Action 1 again? You're talking. One of the things I liked about DC was they weren't doing what Marvel was doing and rebooting everything all the time.
Yeah. No, that's what I didn't realize that with Marvel because I never. Yeah, Bill Sienkiewicz is great. I wish I had those. I've been seeing the Elektra miniseries he did. Those are great covers from the 80s. Anyway, but no, it was just I was blind eyes when I went in. Like I was very naive. Yeah. I had no idea what they did with the New 52.
Well, I mean, like again, for the time. The New 52 had some good stories.
Yeah.
My problem was that they were being way out there with some of the other stuff and changing things. Like, I swear they were changing things just to change things.
Yeah.
So like it was a little rough. Like the Justice League with Jim Lee, that looked fantastic. The first five books of the Justice League from the New 52 which is the origin of the Justice League. They get together, they create the team. Great story.
Yeah.
The interplay between Green Lantern and Batman in those particular books are absolutely hilarious. Okay, but and it was Jeff Johns, I believe, that wrote those ones. So I mean, like that was the start, right? The New 52, Justice League 1 that came out. It was the only book that was the start.
Yeah.
And they went from there. And honestly, there were some books that they did just to fill the New 52 titles that just did not work. Like the Stormwatch they did there was okay, but it wasn't great. The Frankenstein series tanked fast. The Legion series started out great, but tanked. Like, you know, like things got bad real fast. Speaking of the Legion, I have brought Legion books today.
Yes. I actually have one more Legion book, actually. Wait.
Well, let's get you up here. Let's get
Sorry
you
about that, Matt.
Oh, that's fine. Good book. I know that one. That's the they have to bring the substitute heroes in to win because they don't know what their powers are.
And is this like 64 or 65? This is pre Jim Shooter, right?
Yes, it is.
Couple years. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Jim Shooter started during the Go-Go Checks era.
Yeah, I think it was 66 or 67 around.
He started in 66 and it was issue 346. Okay, well, I brought some Legion books from the from after they took over the series from Superboy, Legion Ring. They took the series over from Superboy and it became theirs. And this was a period, this was just before the Great Darkness. This is 1981 going into 82, the Dark Side story. So I just grabbed a few because I thought they would be cool to show. They got some nice covers. This is Legion of Superheroes 272. Block joins the Legion. He becomes Block is the guy here. I have a video coming up soon that shows Block's first appearance. So they sort of have touch. Hi, TM. How are you?
Hey.
So we've got Legion of Superheroes 273. In this era, Brainiac 5 is a little insane. He gets cured around this time, but I think he just got cured before this book. But now he's facing charges for things that he did during the period when he was insane. And I love this. We all talk about politically correct language and stuff today. Like you don't say nuts, you say mentally challenged or things like that. Mm-hmm. Well, the late 70s, early 80s didn't have that problem. He's insane. He's nuts. That's what they say in the book. So this book here, number 274, starts a longer term storyline where Ultra Boy goes missing. And the Legion thinks he's dead, but he's not dead. He's lost his memory and he thinks he's a space pirate. This is Legion of Superheroes 274. Here's the statue they make when you think he's dead. You know, because they all make statues of all the dead Legionnaires, right? So, and he's coming in, but this does not happen in this book. This is just telling us when we're buying the book, hey, he's still alive. He's not dead. This book here, 275, pushes that storyline a little more, where this is Phantom Girl, who's his girlfriend in the Legion, and this is the Pirate Queen, who like Conan, like Bela did to Conan, has taken Jonah, Ultra Boy, on as her boyfriend. So that makes him want to be a pirate. It doesn't hurt. If you know Legion of Superheroes lore, you know that Ultra Boy is from the planet Rimbor, which is basically a pirate planet. So this here is Legion of Superheroes 276. This is a break from the Ultra Boy storyline. This happens on Princess Projector's home planet, and it involves Mordru trying to take over the planet because that's what he does. And you can tell because it says right here, Lord Romdur's castle. And they go, oh my God, Romdur is an anagram of Mordru. So they figure it out. Next up here is 277. They are introducing the Ultra Boy missing storyline again. And they are referencing an old Legion of Superheroes story here by bringing in a character by the name of Reflecto. Reflecto is shown as a statue on Adventure Comics 354 as being a dead Legionnaire. So, since everything they've put on that one title page has been accurate so far in terms of the heroes they've killed off in the years since then, people wanted to see Reflecto and wanted to see what would happen. So they brought the character in as the Ultra Boy thing. But as you will find out, it's not Ultra Boy at all. Here we go. Who in this corner now? They're fighting this character named Grimbor, who is the locksmith, who is a very, very talented locksmith, and he's put this big lock on that somehow is going to push the atmosphere of the Earth together so it can't become breathable anymore. And here, though, in the arrow thing, they go, plus, who is Reflecto and what does he want? They don't quite get to it, though, in that one. Reflecto thinks he's Ultra Boy and thinks he has the memories of Ultra Boy. But here, they finally unmasked Reflecto, which is 279, and we have to save his life before it's too late. But how? Well, they discover that Reflecto is not Ultra Boy. Reflecto, 280, shows that it's Superboy, who somehow has had Ultra Boy's memories put on him. Because comics. So the Legionnaires end up taking Superboy in a time bubble and going back to Superboy's era to see if there was something that was going on there. Only in issue 281 to discover they are stuck in the 20th century, and that is because of the Time Trapper. Yes, it's wonderful. Time Trapper's there. Everybody's there. Mordru's there. They're just having it's a whole bring out all the Legion's Worth villains party. So they're having a blast. And then there's Legion of Superheroes 282. They finally find Ultra Boy. It turns out Ultra Boy is in another dimension. Don't ask me how he got there. I know, but I'm not going to give it away. Give you guys something to read, And he is projecting his mind through Superboy so that they can find him. And that's why Superboy thinks he's Ultra Boy. Leading to issue 283, which is a Wildfire Spotlight. They did this on occasion with the Legion books. They would spotlight on a character, give them their origins or, give them some, because they wanted, there were characters that we didn't know as much over time. Some of the oldest characters like, Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad, Cosmic Boy, we've seen all the time. We know a lot about them. Wildfire was a recent, from the 1970s, and he's only really spotlighted in about 5 or 6 books to this point, outside of his little term as leader. So he got some love there. And the last one I pulled out was Legion of Superheroes 284, which is one of the last books just before they start leading up to the Great Darkness saga, which in itself is a great read and is available in paper, in a trade paperback. I've got it. It's a great read. This is Legion of Superheroes. Lightning Lad is there to get checked out. Some of the Legionnaires happen to be there with him because, his wife is there. His sister, Light Lass, is there. So you can tell, because they're all wanting to make sure he's okay because he's Lightning Lad and he had some bad luck again. And so, boom, they're getting attacked by a terrorist group. And they, apparently in the future, all hospitals are in space. So this is what happens. And of course, with the hole in the space wall, right? Everybody goes out to the vacuum. So those are the books that I brought tonight. I was just grabbing some fun stuff for Louis says that some of his favorite LSH reading, mine too. Everything that goes on, because these are the same characters that were there in the 60s. They've just moved on and they've grown up. Yes, Lyle, I need some new bags. I went and bought some today. Okay, I actually went to the store and bought bags today. So just didn't get a chance to change them all. And that's what I brought tonight. I hope
Great.
everybody's enjoying the show because that it doesn't feel like we got a lot of stuff tonight.
No,
It's been a tough week for me here. I haven't had the time that I wanted to this week to get everything I wanted to get done.
no, I get you. The Legion, I really need to get into reading more because I've read the first issue where they appear.
Yes, Jeff. They are different stories for a while, and then they're until I believe it's Tales of the Legion 324 when they switch and they start reprinting the Baxter books. And then I think it's 16, 17 months after it started, so like there is a time difference. Anyway, sorry.
Have you ever made a video on like a reading order for the Legion, or do you just
Not
say chronological?
particular, but over the course of the couple years I've been on, I've done a few Legion videos, and I have explained some stuff over. Actually, there was one video I did that explained a lot of the Legion timeline stuff. Don't ask me where it is. It's in my past, that I know. But yeah, there was one that I actually did a bit.
So in the 50s and the 60s, they sort of make it so Superman's childhood is like in the 30s or like
Yes.
late 20s. So
Late
what did they
20s,
do
early
in the what did they do in the 70s and 80s? Did they
what
not touch
the official line was, whatever era was normal, Superboy took place 12 years before. So the 1980 series of the New Adventures of Superboy was set in the 60s, the late 60s.
Okay.
So
Okay, that's cool. Which is I always love the adventure and the Superboy covers that have cars on them because they're always either like
yeah, because they always the
Model
old style
A's or-
cars. I love that.
Yeah, but no. I need to. So, how did the Legion sell into the like 70s and 80s? Did they sell well, or were they?
Well, in the early 1980s, we've said this on other channels. In the early 1980s, Adventure 247 was worth more than Action 1. Mostly because people couldn't envision getting an Action 1, but also the Legion was extremely popular between 1977, I want to say, and about 1984.
Okay.
That time period, they were huge. Like the Legion superheroes, second highest selling book after the New Teen Titans in the 80s.
Wow.
So
Wow.
the difference was that the Legion didn't get the love because of for top 10 lists and stuff from that era, because so many Marvel titles were on there. Teen Titans was the only non-Marvel title for the longest time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you think it's hard to get into though in some ways because it has such a huge amount of
it is hard if you don't know some of the characters, but some of the stories in the 60s, they're all easy to pick up and you learn the characters as you go.
Yeah.
Hi Rich, good to see you. Because for example, there are 5 or 6 characters that are pretty much in every story, like Brainiac 5, Cosmic Boy, Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad. They're pretty much in every story. Sun Boy is usually there. Chameleon Boy is usually there. There's a I would say a staple of 10 that seem to be in the stories a lot. And then but other than say maybe 4 of them, the 5 to 10 sort of cycle in and out. You'll get like Triplicate Girl, Dual Damsel, and Bouncing Boy in some stories where Chameleon Boy won't be in, or and all that stuff. And they come in. There's in the mid 60s, the Jim Shooter era in particular, they use the whole team a lot. Like there are big things because the earlier stories would tend to have only 6 or 7 members per issue. But then they got into this big thing. And then after Adventure, when they moved to Action, they got back to using only 4 or 5 per issue. And then so on and so forth. And even into the 70s, as they were doing the backups in the Superman, most issues only had 3 to 5 members at any given time. It was only when they had the big stuff like the Earth War or the weddings, that they get the whole team out. In fact, during that period, they lost a lot of members. Supergirl left. Superboy went to reserve status. Duo Damsel and Bouncing Boy resigned when they got married, that kind of stuff. So they actually lost a lot of members and got some new different ones in, like a Wildfire and a Dawnstar. But the thing is, pre-Crisis, you could pretty much pick it up anywhere.
Yeah.
And you get to know the characters. It gets harder in the 90s and later. That does, but I did do, as I said, in a video where I tried to explain it.
Because I've seen like Legion, I think it's Legion 93 or something like that. Or
the Legion 93 is actually takes place in current day, not 1,000 years in the future. It's a different team.
I see.
Yeah, that is a different team completely. Like Lobo ends up on that team at some point.
Oh, that's interesting. No, yeah. I need to get more into. I need to get more into the Legion because they have a pretty rich history. I do think that with the amount of characters Jim Shooter added, I know he talked about in an interview how he was sort of mimicking Marvel in some ways, because Marvel with ASM, it's like every new issue you have a new villain.
Yeah.
But with DC, they were a little bit more conservative. It was sort of, you have the guys, you maybe have a new character every once in a while, but in general, it's the same cast.
Yeah, and you know what? It worked for DC until it didn't.
Yeah,
and then but then again, in the Bronze Age, they brought in so many different new people that it actually worked. Like Superman got new villains like Terra Man and the Atomic Skull and people like that who were different. They brought Metallo back in a different way. Yes, Pharaoh Lad was a Shooter idea that died sadly. There's a reason about Pharaoh Lad. He had intended Pharaoh Lad to be black. He wanted it to be the first black Legionnaire. Okay? DC said no. So he drew the character with a mask on the whole time as a protest and killed him off just because he wasn't allowed to do. And they didn't like that. DC did not like the idea of killing off a character. But the editor said, let's give it a chance. And they ended up publishing the story. But, this literally was the 13-year-old, 14-year-old boy having a little bit of a hissy fit because he couldn't get his way on on a character. At the same time, turned out great storyline. So, really.
Yeah, well, I think Shooter...
Jeff, just a second here. Jeff, in answer to your question, a future video will cover that.
No, I think... No, I've only read from Shooter. The only thing I really read was his first issue, where they introduced, what is it, Karate Kid who gets introduced?
Karate Kid, Princess Projectra, Pharaoh Lad, who we just talked about, and a character that ends up becoming an enemy, Nemesis Kid.
Yeah, well, and I got a kick out of his first issue. I mean, for being he was 15, 14.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's absolutely stunning that a 13-year-old boy wrote this.
No, I know. He had a lot. You know
what? Half of that book, they used Shooter's sketches.
Yeah,
they made him look more professional, but they used his sketches for some of the book as well. Well, now Kurt Swan was his regular Legion artist afterwards, but
Well, he talked about, I can't remember who it was, but there was an artist at DC who used to talk, like whenever he was at conventions, he'd be like, writers are idiots. And he said, they don't know what they're doing. And he said, but somebody in the audience asked, hey, is there any writer you respected? And he said, there was this one kid at DC who was sending in stories. And he said, and he was great. And he's like, well, do you know he's right there? And Jim got up. He was in the back of the room and got up front, and they talked for a little bit, but it was pretty interesting.
Oh, that's cool. Jim Shooter was an absolute legend. I had the pleasure of meeting him myself. He was a wonderful guy. He told great stories. I had a blast. But we're gonna call it. There wasn't a lot tonight, and I apologize in that sense. As I said, I didn't get as much time to prepare as I wanted to. We had one guest that was maybe going to show up who didn't, and I was hoping that would add a little time to the show tonight as well. Having a third person makes it a lot easier to fill the time. So as well as, you know, we get to see more books, and that's the real thing that I like, is getting to see more books and getting more opinions. Everybody. So once more, I had put the for some reason it's not working now. I'm going to get it again. I'm going to put the link to the video you need to go to in order to to register to be part of my draw. We're there. I am so happy. I am so grateful to everybody who has taken the time. There we go. Shareable link. There we go. Everybody who has taken the time to watch the channel, subscribe to the channel, become a member, everything like this. Thank you very much for you know, thank you for being a friend. No, thank you very much for everything you've done. Chris, thank you for coming tonight. I really appreciate this. I had a blast tonight, and I hope everybody who was watching did too. And if you're watching on the rewind, leave a comment. And as I said, go to this place right here. I will put the link in the description for this video to go and subscribe and leave a comment on that video. And Thursday night coming, 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to do the draw, and there will be 6 winners. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. I hope you enjoyed yourself. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Bye, everybody.